might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Right, we're here with Tarrawinji royalty Franky, who this week plays his 200th game. It's taken him 14 years. He first came to Tara in year 2000. I'm just going to go through his rap sheet before I start a few questions. You've won 2 senior premierships. For 3 years you've been the senior coach at the club and took the club to a grand final in 2011. You've got 1 club best and fairest. 7 times you've been runner-up best and fairest. You've coached the league 3 times. Runner-up in the league medal once. Been in the O&K Team of the Year 5 times. And senior captain for 7 years. It's a pretty amazing rap sheet, Frank. What's your thoughts on your time at Tarrawinji?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I think when I first came out in 2000, I came from Darwin, and I remember venturing out one Thursday night. I was living with Matty Gorman and Daz Nolan out there at Tara, so that was a bit of a wake up call when I rocked up there, and then went out to training on the Thursday night. It was a bit different, but it was fantastic from the get-go, especially living with those 2 blokes, and obviously been there ever since, so it's been great.
With playing 200 games, is it hard to pick a best moment? Do you have a best moment?
Oh, look, the 2 flags would have to be probably the favourite, especially the 08, because we hadn't won in, I think it was, since 1990, so to go through that year undefeated and win the flag was probably the best, and also then to back it up in 2010, unfortunately not in 09, but we won't mention that.
Yeah, yep. And you've obviously gone through some really successful times with the club of recent, but the first few years at Tara probably weren't all that pretty. What was it like being around the club then?
Oh, look, it was different. It was rough, but at the same time, it was still enjoyable to be out there, even though we're getting flogged by 100 plus every week. But we still had fun after games and social functions, and I think that's what's made the club so successful. More the last few years, because it's always a fun club to be at. But yeah, it's changed. We got rid of a bit of riffraff early in the few years with when I think Cremo was president, and there's a couple others. But again, it hasn't changed much. But on field's been fantastic in the last sort of 5-6 years. So hence why I'm still there.
Beautiful. Now let's get to your nickname. You're affectionately known as Franky, but you've got a couple of other names that have come up in the club over the years. The first one is your name that you were going to be called when you were born. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, well, for those that don't know, which I think they all do know, was Farkinen. It was just a name that my parents had penciled in, and thank God they chose Finton, because Farkinen, it's very ordinary. It's just it's an Irish name, but my sister was going to be called Benalla, and they ended up picking Mairead, so we both lucked on that one anyway. Yeah,
and the other one we've got that's come up is Frank the Tank. Now, how did Frank the Tank come up?
I think it was Barassi. You'd message him during the week for training or whatever it was, and he'd always finish with FTT, and I'd always wonder what it was. And then, so I think it was Barassi. If I'm wrong, I do apologise for whoever came up with it. But
so Frank the Tank stuck.
Yeah.
Now, you've obviously had a bit of fun there and some footy trips. You've been on 10 years of footy trips, so you've only missed four years of footy trips.
Yep.
I know you're not allowed to speak about footy trips, but give us a moment that possibly we could hear about.
There's probably a couple, and Rory probably won't like this, but there was a trip in, I think it was down at Tassie, and a good mate of all of ours, Gemma Hartley, was down there, and there just happened to be a bit of an incident in one of Rory's bags, but I won't mention what sort of incident. I'll leave that to the imagination. And ironically, on the same trip coming home, seeing Gemma Hartley and one other person I won't name, walking across the tarmac to get onto the plane to leave. It was very funny. I didn't think they were going to get let on the plane, and the other person I know who it is, but that. And then also when we arrived back in Glenrowan, Gemma Hartley was fantastic. But there's been a heap, but that's all I can sort of.
Yeah, look, it's very hard to get into stories about footy trips. You've obviously played a lot of footy and spent a lot of time at the club. Your family obviously has been very supportive in your time out there to have been able to spend so much time and I suppose have a beautiful family as well. Yeah,
obviously without support from your family, it's near impossible to sort of get to training on a Tuesday or on a Thursday and then play on a Saturday. Obviously it takes up a lot of your time, especially weekends. So Christy's been fantastic since we met very early, and ironically it was out at Tara at a Silver Circle. So ever since
sober? Were you both sober?
I was. Christy didn't look too too good though, but no, yeah, she's been amazing. So are the kids, and they're just starting to get a bit older now. And I think Bailey's hopefully next year will be out, playing netball out at Tara. Well, that's what her contract says anyway. So
beautiful, beautiful. She's coming up through the ranks. Now, you did play footy at Darwin before coming to Tara. What was it like playing footy up in Darwin?
It was hot. It was quick. It was definitely an eye-opener. I was fortunate enough when we moved up there in '98 to play for the Waratah Footy Club out there in Fanny Bay, and we won 2 flags back to back. We had 3 in the reserves and 2 seniors, so it was probably ideal time when I went up there. Yep. But no, it's great footy, it's great standard. I still keep in contact with guys up there, and also keep an eye on what's happening in the footy with the results too.
And footy probably would have changed a little bit for you from coming to Darwin to Tara. One probably notable thing might be that you might have had more hair back then.
Yes, I had plenty of hair, and I think there's a photo going around on the book of when I was in my Waratah get-up gear, and there was a fair bit of hair there. But well, what do you do?
It's hard to imagine. So we've actually got a bit of hair for you to whack on for the rest of the interview. So we'll put this on for the next couple of questions.
All right.
Now, you've mentioned a few players that you've really enjoyed playing with at Tara, and a few people that have been influential. So you've been runner-up to ace 5 times in the best and fairest. Is he your most disliked player at Tarawinji?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Good.
No, I'm only joking.
And last thing, mate, you've obviously had a pretty amazing career so far. What's next for you? What's your goals, your future? Where's that taking you?
I think after this year, I'll at this stage I will finish, and then probably have a year or 2 off footy and just get around the kids. So they got netball and Auskick and dancing and all that. So I think it's time to give Christy a bit of a break at home and enjoy the kids, get involved in their sport a bit more, and look down the track. I really want to get back into the coaching because I really do love it, whether that's at Tara or wherever. But this stage, just get through this year, get through this week, get the 200 out of the way. It'd be fantastic, and then hopefully we can finish the year off. With a flag would be ideal, but probably step away from the footy for a bit, and then who knows later on.
Beautiful. Well, mate, I hope you actually get to your 200th. Last time you tried to get to your 200th, you injured yourself on Thursday night at training. So all the best, mate, but it's been an absolute pleasure playing with you, but also talking tonight. Thanks very much.
Good on you. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Hey. Good to see you. Come on in, let's go. Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is.
is what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back crush shit. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back, this is the moment tonight.